Okay, I guess this is take two. If you hear any god-awful noise in the background, that's Socrates being grounded to the confinements of his own room. And he does have his own room, you spoiled cat. Anyhow, blah, 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 blah. Sex with your favorite celebrity icon, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, blah, blah, and blah. Na labuki una alabujabek. It means curse your father and your father's father. Again, I mean, I could be wrong. However, just the amount of views that, to my surprise, when I wrote Riddled with Parents, I do want to tell you about the gift that I bought you. I told you this before, but it wasn't through certified mail, so I have no way of knowing if you got the message or not. But before I tell you about the gift, speaking of certified mail, I had spoke to an AI lawyer about this, and all the way down to because my profuse phone calls, as we all know, I don't think you personally need to hear me say this in plain English. I was calling to beg for my life, begging him to stop ruining it. Because although coerced control is against the law, it keeps getting overlooked, and I would need a whole team of lawyers just to stick that penal code in LAPD's face. As long as it's just somebody's life getting ruined, it's not like they're taking down buildings, although it is also considered a form of terrorism, and terrorists are not even supposed to get a trial. It would take a lot of sponsorship to make that happen, but that would teach him a damn good fucking lesson. I bet you nobody would ever do it again. So this is going to take a long time before he'll be confronted by a lawyer, so he's not going to give a rat's ass in the meantime. And to hold us all over. So there are countless programs, sponsorship for stuff like this. They're calling it a civil case, even though it's not, but it might as well be. So in the meantime, it'll be notarized and certified mail. He's still going to pretend that he didn't read it. And should I tell you this? Maybe not. Where it's coming from is going to make him afraid not to open it. Let's just leave it at that. And I guess I'll read it to you. So when he pretends that he didn't read it, and this part's for you because first of all, had he not forbid our friendship, yes, they would have been flirting in the beginning. It's like squirrels; they look at each other and they know that they're cute. Maybe we would have fucked. Maybe we would know we not would have fucked. But that's private. That's between God. God and Mother Nature are the boss. You and I both only work here. But I could see our relationship without the repression bogging us down. This is how I see it going. Us all hanging out backstage, and somebody, a friend of yours, how do you know Cross? Why, I'm Cross's personal dominatrix, followed by you overhearing me, and us chasing each other around the couch until the show must go on. In other words, laughter. Laughter is a release of tension, and when it's, sexual tension, sexual frustration between a man and a woman, certain circumstances, prior obligations, too shy or perhaps too overzealous to get permission in the form of an open relationship. I see our relationship being a barrel of laughs, non-sexual. If anything, it would become sexual because of the forebodings. So check that one out. And on that note, okay, let me tell you about the gift first. And then I have a hope and a prayer because for the mouse to swallow the lion, something has to strike a nerve. Like when Vicky hit my godson too much. And then the grape juice is what made me snap. And I was a mouse up until then. But I tell you, when I did yell, I yelled that good person with a bad head trip straight to a psychiatrist's office. And she called and apologized. And she said she was seeing a therapist now. Which I was like, okay, because that was my mother. She hit us until her very first session with Dr. Taddeo, and Dr. Taddeo really raised us girls. So, but that just to give you an example of the mouse swallowing the lion. Now, without further ado, what I will be holding on to you till about your 34th birthday, because that's how long it's going to take for you to host a party, but that's not riddled with parents. If the spirit of mouse swallowing lion should surpass you. And that's why I'm here to make sure it doesn't. I'm sure you heard me state this before, but I actually bought the fucking shirt. There's two shirts. It managed to impregnate itself and gave birth to another shirt. I didn't know shirts could do that. But anyway, it says, "Number Mr. Nice Guy on your knees, bitch," and it's a picture of Gumby getting a blowjob from Betty Boop. And then the other shirt that literally was brought to me from the wind says, "I love my Latino girlfriend. Please take 2 steps back." Now, laying out these shirts backstage, and with the rules that you can only pick one, everybody's going to want you to pick the Gumby shirt. And of course, you're more likely going to pick the Latino shirt. So, since this isn't going to happen for another 14 years, I can find comfort in it being a secondhand shirt at that point after paying good money for it, as opposed to you picking the Latino shirt when it's brand new. It's vintage, so it's like it's secondhand but cost a lot of money. And then, of course, after I bought it, I found it was reprints of it for $17.99. You don't like the idea of having to wait till your 34th birthday to host a party that's not riddled with parents? Well, then, you're going to have to tell your inner mouse to swallow the lion, baby. By the way, are you coming to Nick's party, the Hallows Eve? There's like 19 bands. I don't know if you're one of them, or if you're coming as a guest with your dad. If so, when we're lucky enough to say hello, it's like, wait for it, 3, 2, 1, Rudis Interrupt is going to come along. Now, this should have the same effect that I had on Vicky. You put your both arms around me, hold me tight, and say, "She's right, Dad. You cannot apologize for a 3-year financial undermining with words alone. And since you don't want to compensate without this nice lady having to jump through too many hoops, it looks like I'm the punitive settlement. And walk out arm in arm with me. Of course, since you didn't get the permission slip, I'm going to have to drive you straight home to your girlfriend's house. But I won't tell him that part if you don't."